Okay, so this is the pltr 303 video, and this is the last trade I got into with, and it was with options. And the coolest thing, and is the reason I wanted to make this video playbook. So I took my first position in the beginning of August, which was the first video, and added in the beginning of September, which was the second video, and now I'm taking my third. Well, now I'm showing how I took my third position, but with options on the 22nd of September 2021. So this PLTR showed similar patterns with what and how the order flow was doing all summer. It would go up for a day or two, then it would liquidate right above the short position. So this time when I saw the accumulation in the B profile, I was curious to see the option flow during the this time, and I knew that we were going into month-end cycle, which is when the mindset of wholesale traders are during this time, right? So have you ever so before I go into the trade, I want to talk about month end. So have you ever noticed that historically around the end of the month, quarter, we might get a flush of the market and then it rips up faster and higher than the original price it flushed at? And it all does is before month end. Well, let's break down that logic of what's happening during this time, right? So the people who own brokerage firms are some of the greediest old bastards you will ever meet, right? They would rather sell one of their children than keep money in a bank account with a month clearance firm, right? Now this has to settle down. This has settled down a little bit due to like public companies and all that, but it still happens more than not. Now month end is when wholesale elements, size traders go risk off. Why? Two reasons. You have to report your monthly, quarterly profits or losses statements with your clients, and they won't pay you and will fire your butt if you bring a sloppy report to them. Try taking a report to your boss tomorrow and tell him that you need to wire $5 million to protect an account you royally screwed up, and see if you still have a job at the end of the day, right? So this is why you see month end usually get marked up, right? The second reason is you get fresh credit at the beginning of the month to play with, right? It's like getting a clean credit card. And guess who doesn't get a fresh new credit card if they turn in a report showing they're offsides on an account at the end of the month, causing a net capital drain, right? So now that we understand the logic to this, we're going to see this as an example play out, right? And we see that play out here in POTR, and like we saw that they flexed really hard to bring it down, right? Because somebody was upside down in a position, and that way they could cover their losing positions, and they're able to send their clients the monthly statement in the green. Why? Because you keep your funds with a dude. Why would you keep your funds with that dude who's losing your money in PLTR, right? Now I'm talking about prop firms, momentum traders, and companies right now. So we see here on the chart, like they brought it down, allowed the smart shorts to cover in the weakness, and then like momentum traders and everybody else who's smart, like took advantage of this and got into because they knew this thing they're trying to benefit from the rip before they had to report their statements to the clients, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Now let's talk about the trade, right? So as I saw, like PLTR accumulating on the 20th and the 21st, that's when the ES was going down, and everybody swore that that was the crash of the century. While I was watching the relative strength of this company and then watching the ES, and I noticed that this company, even though it made a lower on the 21st, it still looked like the supply was drying up on the lower intraday time frames and that it wanted to keep going. And when it closed, it still established a higher low, as you can see in the chart here, right? So I pull up the option flow, which is on the right, and I look at it, and like I notice that the 27th strike that expires on the 24th of or September got hit on Monday and Tuesday really hard, right? And they're all calls, and they all were on the ask, right? So as I look, I can see where it says under the details, I can see A. That means they're buying that on the ask. And I can see that there's a lot of sweeps, which means they're using multiple brokerages to fill that order. And I see a block, right, which means they used one brokerage to place that order, and they negotiated the price, right? So I don't play off of blocks, I play off of sweeps. And then I noticed that like the actual price that they got it in at increased, so like that gave me confidence. And then I looked over at the dark pools, which are indicated on the chart and on the bottom left, and saw on the 21st when the ES was supposedly crashing and PLTR was showing really good relative strength. Like people were placing dark pool orders, like a lot of them, around the 26 and 27 price, right? So on the 22nd, right when it opened, I bought the 27 calls that expire on the 24th of September. And, I just closed them out yesterday. And like, oh, no, I closed them out Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. And like, I made like 3 times. I made a 1-3 or 3-1, whatever the risk to reward was. So yeah, that's how I played it. And, like, this is my thing. I put the stop for that. With options, my stops are a little bit different. I'm willing to, risk 40% of my options for the breakout, especially when I had this much confidence and understanding of the stock. All right, guys. Hopefully this helped. Later.